California's mystery volcano just exploded. The cliffs at Hope Ranch are spontaneously combusting, and what is happening right now has firefighters racing toward a disaster they cannot put out. Picture this: a quiet Thursday morning in Santa Barbara. Families starting their day, students walking across the UC Santa Barbara campus. And then, without warning, thick plumes of smoke begin rising straight out of the ocean cliffs. Not from a fire, not from a building, from the ground itself. Emergency crews speed to the scene, fire engines, battalion chiefs, all scrambling to stop something that should not even exist, because California's official records say there are no volcanoes anywhere in Santa Barbara County. None. Zero. Yet the locals have a name for this place. They call it the Hope Ranch Volcano, and it has been burning, smoking, and erupting on its own for years. But here is what is sending chills down scientists' spines. This is not the first time. It happened in 2017, then again in 2019, then 2020, then 2021. Always the same cliffs, always the same terrifying smoke. And every single time, the experts walk away with more questions than answers. Something deep inside these bluffs is reacting. Something is heating up. Something is igniting on its own, and nobody can predict when it will happen next. Even more disturbing, the chemistry behind these flames is the same kind of process tied to one of the most dangerous supervolcanoes on Earth. Could California's smoking cliffs be hiding something far bigger than anyone realizes? Or is this strange phenomenon a warning sign of what is waiting to wake up along the entire West Coast? What is really burning beneath the Hope Ranch cliffs, and why can no one stop it? The clock reads 11 a.m. on an ordinary Thursday morning in Santa Barbara County. The sun is shining over the Pacific. Families are going about their daily routines. Then the first 911 calls start pouring in. Residents near Hope Ranch are reporting something impossible. Thick plumes of smoke are rising directly from the ocean cliffs. Not from a structure, not from a vehicle, from the bluffs themselves. Within minutes, Santa Barbara County firefighters are racing toward the scene. A fire engine roars down the coastal roads. A battalion chief is dispatched to coordinate the response. Emergency radios crackle with urgent updates. By the time crews arrive at the cliffs, the smoke is unmistakable. Heavy, sulfurous, drifting up from the ground as if the earth itself has cracked open. What firefighters find waiting for them is a problem unlike anything in their training manuals. There is no obvious source, no campfire, no discarded cigarette, no electrical fault, just smoke pouring from solid rock at the edge of the Pacific Ocean. And here is the terrifying part. They cannot put it out. Water will not stop it. Foam will not stop it, because whatever is burning is not on the surface. It is happening inside the cliff. Santa Barbara County Fire spokesperson Michael Gray steps forward to address the confused public. His words are chilling in their casual acceptance. He says it is something he has always just accepted as the Hope Ranch volcano, and they monitor it until it stops. Imagine that. Trained emergency responders openly admitting they have no way to stop this. They can only wait and watch. The risks are immediate and serious. This is California, a state where one stray spark can ignite catastrophic wildfires. Crews scramble to protect nearby vegetation. They worry about underground drainage pipes that may be damaged. They worry about what happens if the wind shifts. They worry about what happens if the smoke gets worse, because in California, you do not take chances with fire, ever. Here is where the story takes its first strange turn. According to every official geological record, California has no volcanoes in Santa Barbara County. None. Zero. The United States Geological Survey is clear on this point. The state's volcano hazard maps confirm it. Scientists who have studied this region for decades agree. There should be no volcanic activity anywhere near Hope Ranch. And yet, the cliffs keep smoking. So how did this stretch of coastline get the nickname Hope Ranch Volcano in the first place? The answer lies with the people who live there. Year after year, decade after decade, residents have watched smoke rise from the same bluffs. They have seen the flames. They have smelled the sulfur. And eventually, they gave the phenomenon a name that stuck, a name that even firefighters now use without hesitation. To understand why this matters, you need to picture the location. Hope Ranch is not some isolated wilderness. It is one of the most exclusive communities in all of Santa Barbara County. Multi-million-dollar homes line the coastline. Horse trails wind through the hills. The cliffs themselves drop dramatically into the Pacific, offering some of the most breathtaking ocean views in California. And these same cliffs are visible from the UC Santa Barbara campus, where thousands of students live, study, and walk past the smoking bluffs every single day. Think about that for a moment. A geological phenomenon that defies official explanation, happening right next to a major university, right next to a wealthy residential neighborhood, right at the edge of one of the most populated coastlines in America. And nobody can fully explain it. Nobody can stop it. Nobody can even predict when it will happen next. What makes the story even more bizarre is how the locals have adapted. Many residents no longer call 911 when they see the smoke. They have seen it so many times that it has become part of the landscape. Just another quirk of living in Hope Ranch, like an unwelcome neighbor who shows up unannounced every few years and refuses to leave. The locals know, they watch, they wait, they accept it. But here is the question that should haunt everyone. If this is not a volcano, what is it? What force inside these ancient cliffs is strong enough to generate heat, produce smoke, and start fires entirely on its own? What is happening beneath the surface that scientists are only beginning to understand? Because something is burning, something is reacting, something is alive inside these bluffs, and whatever it is not going to stop anytime soon. To understand just how strange this phenomenon truly is, you have to look at the pattern. This is not a one-time event. This is not some freak accident that happened once and disappeared. The smoking cliffs of Hope Ranch have been igniting on their own for years, and every single time, it happens in the exact same place. The earliest widely documented incident traces back to 2017. Firefighters were called to the bluffs. Smoke was rising. A small vegetation fire had started along the cliff edge. Crews responded, contained the flames, and walked away with more questions than answers. They had no clear explanation, no identifiable cause, just smoke pouring from the ground as if the earth had a mind of its own. Then it happened again, in 2019. Same cliffs, same smoke, same response. Firefighters arrived to find the bluffs burning without a source they could identify. They monitored, they waited, they documented. And eventually, the smoke faded as mysteriously as it had appeared. In 2020, the cliffs ignited yet again. By now, locals were beginning to recognize the pattern. The phenomenon was no longer surprising. It was becoming expected, routine, almost predictable in its unpredictability. Then came 2021, when the Santa Barbara Independent published coverage that brought the story to a much wider audience. Suddenly, the Hope Ranch volcano was no longer just a local curiosity. It was a documented geological mystery that scientists, journalists, and curious viewers across the country wanted to understand. The legend was growing. And now, the most recent incident has continued the chilling pattern. Same stretch of bluffs, same plumes of smoke, same firefighters responding with the same helpless monitoring approach. Year after year, this phenomenon refuses to stop. But here is what makes it truly disturbing. The smoke does not appear randomly along the coast. It does not show up at different beaches or different cliffs each time. It returns to the exact same location, over and over and over again. Something specific beneath these particular bluffs keeps producing fire. Something deep inside this exact stretch of rock keeps reacting to the world around it. Geologists have begun noticing patterns connected to weather and seasons. Heavy rainfall seems to trigger incidents. Landslides and erosion appear to play a role. The phenomenon does not strike at random. It responds to specific conditions, suggesting that whatever is buried inside these cliffs is just waiting for the right moment to ignite. This is not coincidence. This is not luck. This is something built into the very geology of Hope Ranch, and it is not going away anytime soon. So if it is not a volcano, what on earth is actually burning beneath the Hope Ranch cliffs? The answer is one of the most fascinating geological discoveries on the California coast, and it has nothing to do with magma, nothing to do with lava, nothing to do with deep underground chambers of molten rock. What is happening here is something far stranger. It is pure chemistry, a natural reaction so powerful that it can start fires entirely on its own. The secret is locked inside the cliffs themselves. Buried within layers of rock that have been forming for millions of years are two key ingredients: iron sulfides and hydrocarbons. Iron sulfides are minerals naturally found in many sedimentary rocks. Hydrocarbons are the same kind of organic compounds found in oil and natural gas. Both materials have been sitting peacefully inside these bluffs for ages. Hidden, dormant, waiting. Then, nature provides the trigger. A landslide, a heavy rainfall, a slow but steady erosion of the cliff face. Whenever the surface of the bluffs cracks open or breaks apart, these buried materials are suddenly exposed to something they have never met before: oxygen. And that is when the real danger begins. The moment iron sulfides come into contact with oxygen, a chemical reaction starts immediately. The minerals begin to oxidize. Heat is released. The reaction accelerates. The temperature inside the rock starts climbing. And here is where the hydrocarbons enter the equation. They act as fuel. They feed the rising heat. They turn a slow chemical process into something explosive. Inside the cliff, the temperature continues to build, higher, hotter, until it reaches a critical point. Then, ignition occurs, spontaneously, without a single spark from the outside world. The rock itself catches fire. What viewers see at the surface is the result of all this hidden chaos. Plumes of smoke pouring from the ground, occasionally small flames licking through the cliff face, brush fires starting in nearby vegetation. The cliffs are essentially performing a slow-motion chemistry experiment, and the final stage is fire. This is why firefighters cannot put it out with water. The reaction is happening deep inside the rock, where water cannot reach. This is why it returns to the same location every time. The chemistry is built into the geology of this exact stretch of coastline, and this is why it has nothing to do with volcanoes. There is no magma down there, no geothermal heat, no deep volcanic chamber. It is not a volcano. It is something rarer, something stranger, a natural chemical reactor hidden inside ancient cliffs. And every few years, it ignites. Now here is where the story takes a darker turn. Some geologists have used a specific term to describe the smoking cliffs of Hope Ranch, a term borrowed from one of the most dangerous places on Earth. They call it a solfatara, and the moment you understand what a real solfatara is, your blood runs cold. A true solfatara is a vent in the ground that releases sulfurous gases and steam directly from deep underground sources. These vents are found at some of the most terrifying volcanic sites on the planet. The Campi Flegrei supervolcano in Italy has a massive solfatara. Yellowstone, the supervolcano sitting beneath America's most beloved national park, has them too. These are not minor geological curiosities. These are the breathing vents of sleeping giants. When scientists first started using the word solfatara to describe Hope Ranch, alarm bells went off. Campi Flegrei has been showing signs of unrest. The ground there has been rising. Earthquakes have been increasing. Some experts fear the supervolcano could be waking up. Comparing the Hope Ranch cliffs to a place like that immediately raised one terrifying question. Could California be hiding a supervolcano in plain sight, right next to Santa Barbara? The answer, thankfully, is no. And the reason why is everything. A real solfatara is connected to deep geothermal processes. The gases and heat come from miles below the surface, often from magma chambers slowly cooking the rock above them. The pressure is immense. The temperatures are extreme. The danger is real and ancient. Hope Ranch is fundamentally different. The smoke and heat here are not coming from deep within the earth. They are not connected to any underground heat source. They are happening at the surface, just inches inside the cliff face. The reaction is shallow, localized, driven entirely by chemistry, not geology. Geologists have even pushed back against the solfatara label, arguing that it is not entirely accurate. The word implies something it should not. It implies depth. It implies connection to magma. It implies the kind of danger that exists at supervolcanoes. None of that applies to Hope Ranch, but the confusion is understandable. When you stand on those cliffs and watch sulfurous smoke pour out of the ground, your brain makes the obvious connection. Smoke plus sulfur equals volcano. It is an instinctive reaction, a primal fear, the same fear humans have felt for thousands of years whenever the earth starts breathing fire. Hope Ranch is not Campi Flegrei. It is not Yellowstone. It is something else entirely. Smaller, stranger, and in its own way, just as fascinating. Now let's talk about the part of the story that nobody wants to think about. The hidden dangers. Because while Hope Ranch may not be a real volcano, the risks it creates are absolutely real. And in California, those risks could turn deadly fast. Start with the most obvious threat. Wildfires. California is a tinderbox. The state has watched entire towns burn to the ground because of a single spark. Now imagine that spark coming from the earth itself, without warning, without a human cause, without anyone to blame or stop it. The smoking cliffs of Hope Ranch have already sparked multiple small brush fires over the years. Each one was contained, but the next one might not be. All it takes is the wrong wind, the wrong season, the wrong dry conditions, and a small ignition becomes a catastrophe. Then there is the infrastructure threat. During the most recent incident, firefighters expressed serious concern that the reaction may have damaged underground drainage pipes near the cliffs. Heat strong enough to ignite rock can absolutely destroy man-made systems buried in the same ground. Pipes, cables, foundations, none of it is built to withstand spontaneous combustion happening just inches away. There is also the coastal erosion problem. The same chemical reactions that produce the smoke also weaken the cliffs themselves. Every time the rock heats up and reacts, it loses structural integrity. The bluffs become more fragile, landslides become more likely, and those landslides expose more reactive material, which triggers more reactions, which causes more erosion. It is a vicious cycle that could eventually threaten everything sitting on top of those cliffs. And what sits on top of those cliffs is staggering. Hope Ranch is one of the most exclusive neighborhoods in all of Santa Barbara County. We are talking about multi-million-dollar homes, private estates, some of the most valuable real estate in California. All of it perched above a stretch of coastline that occasionally catches fire on its own. Health concerns add another layer of worry. Sulfurous gases are not exactly safe to breathe. Residents and beachgoers exposed to these emissions over time face real risks. The smoke carries chemicals that can irritate lungs, eyes, and skin. But maybe the most unsettling part of all is the unpredictability. Geologists cannot tell you when the next ignition will happen. They cannot warn you. They cannot prepare you. The cliffs decide on their own schedule, triggered by weather, triggered by erosion, triggered by forces nobody can fully control. It is a manageable hazard, for now, but it is one that demands constant monitoring, because nature here is anything but predictable. Now let's pull back and look at the bigger picture, because the Hope Ranch cliffs are telling us something important about California itself. something most residents have no idea about. The ground beneath their feet is far more active, far more strange, and far more alive than they ever imagined. California's coastline is essentially a giant geological time capsule. For millions of years, layer upon layer of organic material has been buried, compressed, and transformed inside these cliffs. Marine sediments, ancient plant matter, mineral deposits. All of it stacked together like pages in a book that nature has been writing since long before humans existed. And now, that book is starting to crack open in places like Hope Ranch. The same forces that created the breathtaking beauty of California's coast also make it geologically restless. Tectonic plates pushing against each other, the land slowly rising out of the ocean, constant erosion carving the bluffs into dramatic shapes. These processes are not gentle. They expose buried materials. They release trapped gases. They occasionally light cliffs on fire. This connects Hope Ranch to a much larger story unfolding across the Pacific. Just recently, Japan was struck by a massive magnitude 7.7 earthquake. Scientists there issued only the second alert in history, warning of a potential megathrust earthquake of magnitude 9 or higher. Researchers drilling into Japan's dangerous subduction zone have uncovered strange new findings about why these catastrophic quakes happen exactly where they do, and the implications stretch all the way back to North America. The Cascadia subduction zone runs along the west coast of the United States, from Northern California up through Oregon and Washington. It is one of the most dangerous fault systems in the world, and the same kind of geological processes happening in Japan could be brewing right beneath the Pacific coast. The entire ring of fire is interconnected. So what does Hope Ranch tell us? It tells us that California's geology is full of surprises. If the cliffs near Santa Barbara can spontaneously combust because of buried chemistry, what other reactive materials are hiding inside the coastline? What other stretches of bluff could ignite under the right conditions? What other phenomena are scientists missing entirely because nobody has thought to look? There are likely more Hope Ranches out there, places where the same chemistry is waiting, places where the same reactions could happen, places where the ground itself is preparing to surprise us. California is not just a beautiful state, it is a geologically active state. And the more we learn, the more we realize how much we still do not understand about the land beneath us. So here we are, standing on the edge of one of the strangest geological phenomena in all of California. The Hope Ranch Cliffs, a place where the earth itself catches fire without a single volcano in sight. A place where chemistry hidden inside ancient rock can ignite on its own, year after year, decade after decade, completely on its own schedule. Picture it one more time. The sun setting over the Pacific Ocean, waves crashing against the bluffs. The peaceful, exclusive neighborhood of Hope Ranch, quiet in the evening light. And somewhere along that stretch of coastline, smoke rising from the ground. Not from a fire, not from a vehicle, not from anything human, from the cliff itself. The firefighters of Santa Barbara County have learned to live with it. The locals have learned to accept it. They no longer panic when they see the smoke. They no longer rush to call 911. They watch. They wait. They monitor until it stops, because they know there is nothing else they can do. For now, crews continue to keep an eye on the site. There are no evacuations, no structural threats, no immediate danger to homes or families. Just an ongoing reminder that the ground beneath us is never quite as still as it seems. But here is the lesson worth remembering. The Hope Ranch volcano is not really a volcano at all. It is something rarer and more remarkable. It is proof that nature still holds secrets we are only beginning to understand. Secrets buried inside cliffs. Secrets locked in chemistry. Secrets that surface only when the conditions are just right. And it makes you wonder, how many other impossible geological phenomena are quietly waiting along the California coast? How many other strange wonders are hiding in plain sight, ready to surprise us when we least expect it? The Earth still has stories to tell. We just have to keep watching, keep listening, keep learning. Because beneath the surface of our world, the most incredible mysteries are still waiting to be discovered.